You know this feeling. You meet a woman, and something inside you wakes up. It is quiet at first, almost like a shift in the air. She looks at you in a way you are not used to. Her voice softens when she says your name. She leans in closer when she listens. You feel something you have not felt in a long time. Hope, maybe connection, maybe something more dangerous. Something you do not trust anymore, but you still let yourself feel. In those first days, everything feels effortless. You speak without overthinking every word. You listen without analyzing every pause. You feel like your presence alone is enough. For a brief moment, you stop being the man who doubts himself. You stop being the man who wonders if he is too quiet, too strange, too withdrawn, too different. For a brief moment, you feel chosen, like life finally turned and pointed at you. But then something changes. You do not know exactly when it happens. It almost never happens in one big moment. It is subtle. Her replies feel lighter, shorter. The warmth in her messages begins to cool. The way she looks at you is not the same. She still smiles, but it does not reach as deep. She still talks to you, but something in her is no longer leaning in. She has shifted from present to polite. You try to pretend you do not notice, but you feel it instantly. You've always feel it. A part of you that has lived in silence for years suddenly wakes up and begins to panic. You look for reasons. You scroll back through old conversations. You examine your own words like evidence. This joke, that comment, that one evening when you were a little quieter than usual. You search for the exact second where you believe you broke everything. You assume you said the wrong thing. You assume you did something that killed her interest. You assume that you, as a man, failed some test you never got to see. But this is the part no one told you. You did not ruin anything with one sentence. You did not lose her because of one small mistake. What pushed her away was a signal you did not know you were sending. A message beneath your words. A shift in your energy so subtle you could not hear it, but she felt it clearly. The moment you begin to desire her more than you value yourself, your energy changes. It becomes unstable, tight, hungry in a way you cannot see, but she feels in her body. You begin to speak differently. You start watching her reactions instead of staying rooted in your own truth. You respond too quickly because you are afraid of silence. You place her emotional state above your own. You stop being the calm center, and you become a man waiting for permission to matter. You think you are showing interest. She senses dependence. You think you are being kind. She senses that you abandon yourself easily. You believe you are giving clarity. She feels emotional risk because she can see how quickly you are willing to bend yourself in order to keep her close. Women do not run from a man who cares. Women move away from the feeling that a man is putting his sense of worth into her hands. When your energy says, "Please choose me, because without your attention I do not know who I am," she loses the ability to feel desire. Not because she wants to punish you, and not because she is shallow, but because something deep inside her nervous system begins to signal danger. Every human being, man or woman, is affected by the energy in front of them. A woman reads a man much faster than he realizes. She hears what you say, but more than that, she feels the state you speak from. When your internal world is steady, when your self-worth is not on trial in every interaction, your presence feels like solid ground. When your internal world collapses the moment she pulls back even slightly, your presence feels like a floor that might give way under her feet at any second. Attraction cannot survive on a floor that fragile. You might keep your words confident and your face calm, but your energy does not lie. It tightens. It leans forward too far. It chases. It makes everything about her. You keep replying faster. You keep asking more questions. You keep checking if she is still there, still interested, still warm. You stop letting the connection breathe. You stop giving both of you space to simply exist in the moment. You begin to chase connection instead of creating it. You answer instantly because you fear what the silence might mean. You soften your voice to avoid disagreement. You mirror her too closely, hoping she will stay comfortable and never feel challenged. You speak in order to see a reaction on her face, not because the words are honest. You laugh at things that do not feel funny. You fill every quiet moment that once felt peaceful. You stop being the man she met. The man she met had his own gravity. He listened, but he did not fold. He was present, but not desperate. He enjoyed her, but he did not cling. When you began to fear losing her, you gave that away. You surrendered the part of you that felt like home. You could feel it happening, but you did not know how to stop it. All you knew was that the more you cared, the more terrified you became. This is even more intense if you are an introverted man, a quiet man. A man with a mind that never stops thinking and a heart that rarely feels safe enough to open. When a woman finally sees you, truly sees you, something inside you unlocks. You attach faster than you expect, not because you are weak, but because you have carried your feelings alone for too many years. Her curiosity feels like oxygen. Her acceptance feels like sunlight. Her presence feels like a place you did not know you needed. So you begin to lean. You lean into the feeling of being chosen. You lean into the way she looks at you. You lean into the idea that maybe, finally, you have found something different from all the half-hearted connections that came before. You let your imagination move ahead of reality. You see her not only as she is, but as an answer to the question that has followed you for years. Am I enough as I am? That is the moment everything becomes dangerous. Because now, without noticing, you have handed her a role she never agreed to play. You have made her a judge instead of a partner. Her attention becomes proof that you are valuable. Her silence becomes proof that you are not. Each message now carries a verdict. Each delay now feels like a sentence. You begin to live on trial in your own mind, and she can feel the weight of that, even if she cannot explain it. Your silence is no longer neutral. Silence from a grounded man feels powerful, like an unshaken mountain. Silence from a man who is afraid feels hollow, like an abandoned room. Women feel the difference in seconds. They may not know why, but they know which one feels safe. Your attention is no longer simple interest. It is no longer, I enjoy you. It becomes, I need you to show me that I matter. A woman might not be able to put that into words, but she will feel it as pressure on her chest. What began as warmth now feels like a weight. Your eagerness is no longer pure sincerity. It is fear dressed as enthusiasm. Under every message, under every gesture, under every plan you suggest, there's a single question echoing quietly. Will you still want me after this? And slowly, often without any drama, she steps back. Not because you are not attractive, not because you are too quiet, not because you are not funny enough, tall enough, successful enough. She steps back because something in your energy tells her that if she comes closer, she will not meet a man. She will meet a void that expects her to fill it. A woman cannot relax into that. She cannot admire that. She cannot desire that. You have lived a long time believing that women leave because you are not enough. The deeper truth is more painful and more freeing. She did not leave because you are too little. She left because you handed her a responsibility that does not belong to any partner. The responsibility of holding your self-worth together. She may care about you. She may feel for you. She may even wish she could stay. But her nervous system is not designed to feel desire for a man whose emotional stability depends on her mood. Desire needs polarity. Polarity needs two centers, not one person orbiting the other. So how do you change this? Not as a trick, not as another performance, but as a genuine shift in how you exist around attraction. You begin by stepping back into your own body. When you feel that familiar panic rise, when she takes longer to answer or her tone feels colder, do not rush to fix it. Notice what happens inside you. Notice how quickly your thoughts become loud. Notice how you want to reach for your phone just to feel close to her again. Instead of sending something, breathe. Instead of chasing, pause. In that pause, you are doing something you have rarely done. You are letting your nervous system know that you can survive uncertainty. You are telling your own mind, I can feel this fear and still stay here. I do not need to beg for immediate relief. This is how a man begins to build inner weight. Not on the good days, but exactly in the moments where he feels least secure. You also begin to live a life that does not disappear the moment a woman appears. Continue the habits, the routines, the disciplines that make you feel grounded. Protect your time. Protect your focus. Protect the practices that make your mind quieter and your body stronger. Attraction is not built only on chemistry. It is built on the feeling that you are a man who has a direction that existed before her and will exist after her. When you speak to her, speak from that place. Let your voice be slow rather than rushed. Let your words come from what you truly think and feel, instead of what you hope will impress her. You can be kind without breaking your own boundaries. You can be generous without abandoning yourself. You can be open without handing someone else the keys to your identity. The more you stand in that energy, the more something interesting happens. You stop watching her so closely. You stop measuring every response. You stop playing the silent game of who cares more. You return to a simple truth. You are a man who is capable of love, but you are no longer a man who turns love into a verdict. Women feel this shift too. Around a man like that, a woman does not feel like a judge. She feels like a partner. She does not feel pressure to constantly reassure him of his value, because she can see that he holds that value himself. She does not feel like she has to stay perfect to avoid breaking him. She can have a bad day. She can be distant sometimes. She can be human, because she knows he will not crumble the moment she steps back to breathe. The attraction that grows from that place is quieter but far deeper. It is not based on drama. It is not based on constant reassurance. It is based on the feeling that this man is solid, that this man is not trying to pull her into a void, that this man will meet her as an equal, not as someone who needs to be saved from his own emptiness. You will still feel fear sometimes. You will still feel the impulse to chase, to prove, to over-explain. That does not mean you have failed. It simply means you are human. The difference now is that you no longer let that fear drive the car. You notice it, but you do not obey it. The subconscious signal you have been sending for years can be summed up in one line. I am waiting for you to tell me that I am enough. When you live that way, loss of interest is almost guaranteed. Not because women are cruel, but because no one can carry that weight for long. The new signal is very different. It sounds like this. I know I am enough. I would like to share my life with you, but my value is not up for negotiation. When that is the energy behind your words, you will not need to convince anyone to stay. The right woman will feel it and lean in. The wrong woman will feel it and drift away. In both cases, you will remain standing. And that, more than any line, any tactic, or any strategy, is what makes a man truly attractive. There will be moments when the old pattern tries to return. You will notice yourself staring at your phone, waiting for a notification that does not come. You will notice your mind creating stories to explain her silence. She must be bored. She must have met someone else. She must have finally seen what is wrong with you. In the past, you would have believed every one of those stories. You would have let them drag you into the familiar spiral of self-blame. Now you will do something different. You will question the story instead of yourself. You will remind your mind that silence does not always mean rejection. Sometimes silence is just silence. Sometimes people are tired, busy, overwhelmed, or lost in their own world. Not everything is about you, and that is not an insult. It is freedom. The less you make every shift about your worth, the more clearly you can actually see what is happening. You will also start to notice the women you choose. When you live from a place of emptiness, you are drawn to people who confirm that emptiness. You may find yourself attracted to women who are inconsistent, unavailable, or addicted to attention. Part of you hates that dynamic, but another part of you is hooked on it, because it keeps the story alive that you are never quite enough. When you begin to respect yourself more, those dynamics will feel different. They will still be tempting, but they will also feel smaller, cheaper, more predictable. The more grounded you become, the more you will feel drawn to a different kind of connection. Not perfect, not free of conflict, but real. A connection where you can say what you feel without collapsing. A connection where no one is forced to carry the other person emotionally. A connection where desire is not built on drama and anxiety, but on depth and respect. This change will not be loud. There will be no applause for it. No one will give you a medal for choosing to hold your own center when you are afraid. But you will feel it in your bones. You will feel it the first time you say no to something that crosses your boundaries, and you stay calm even when she does not like it. You will feel it the first time you do not send the late-night message that comes from panic, and you wake up grateful that you held your ground. You will feel it the first time she pulls back, and instead of chasing, you lean back into your own life. In those moments, something powerful happens inside you. You stop seeing yourself as the man who is always left, always overlooked, always almost enough but never quite. You begin to see yourself as a man who can be chosen, but who no longer begs to be. A man who can love deeply, but who does not abandon himself in the name of love. A man who can stand in the darkness of uncertainty and still move through his day with purpose. The world will not change overnight. Some women will still disappear. Some conversations will still fade. Some connections will still end before you want them to. But the meaning will be different. It will not always be a story about your failure. Sometimes it will simply be a mismatch. Sometimes it will be their fear, not yours. Sometimes it will be life. You cannot control that. You were never meant to. What you can control is the signal you send every day, with or without a woman in your life. You can walk into a room with a nervous mind and a steady body. You can sit with your fear without letting it speak for you. You can feel desire without turning the other person into the judge of your worth. That is what it means to become a man who has chosen himself. When you live like that, women will sense it long before you open your mouth. They will feel it in the way you listen without leaning forward too far. They will feel it in the way you hold eye contact without demanding anything from it. They will feel it in the way you can enjoy a moment fully and still be willing to walk away if it requires you to betray yourself. Some will like it. Some will not. But you will know, deep down, that you are no longer sending the old signal that used to poison every connection. The signal that said, "Please choose me so I can finally feel like enough." That chapter is over. Now you send something cleaner, quieter, and far more powerful. You send the truth. I already know who I am. If we choose each other, it will be from a place of fullness, not from fear. And for the first time you will feel what it is like when someone is drawn to you, not because you are reaching for them from a place of emptiness, but because you stand in your life with both feet on the ground. You will not have to hold on so tightly. You will not have to overthink every moment. You will not have to live in a constant state of secret panic. You will still be human. You will still feel doubt and insecurity. But underneath all of that, there will be something you did not have before. A steady, unshaken, knowing that you are allowed to be here, that your presence has weight, and that your value does not ask for permission. That is the man women can truly desire. That is the man you were always capable of becoming. Not a different person. Not a louder, flashier version of yourself. Just the same quiet, thoughtful man you have always been. Minus the one signal that kept turning your hope into heartbreak. The work begins in the small moments. The next time you feel that rising panic, remember this. The signal is not in what you say. The signal lives in the place you speak from. Choose that place carefully, because she will always feel it, even when you say nothing at all.